Hello everybody, this is JT Productions and welcome back to another preview and prediction video for the 2023 college football season. Today I'll be doing the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee last year, one of their best seasons. I'd say they're probably their best season since 1998 when they won their last national title. Tennessee, between that time, has been up and down, mostly down, and it's been sort of the dumpster fire that would always look back fondly on those memories of the late 90s. And, I mean, you had some great wins. You beat Florida for the first time since 2016. You beat LSU in Death Valley 40-13. You beat Alabama for the first time since 2006. You beat down Kentucky. You beat down Missouri. And you beat down Vandy. The two losses you had were when you were number one for a week and Georgia was 3. You went to their house and got beat, and the score does not reflect how bad the beating was. You lost 27-13. Then you went to Williams-Brice Stadium and lost to South Carolina 63-38 somehow. You did go into a bowl game and have a win against Clemson, the ACC champ, which got you to 11 wins, which was really impressive on Tennessee's part. So, with that, let's look at who you got going back. Well, while you lose your Heisman Trophy candidate, Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton, redshirt senior, came over from Michigan in 2021, is back. And if he doesn't work out, Nico Lama, I don't know how to say that name, Nico, is waiting in the wings. So, Joe Milton can throw the ball 80 yards downfield. Very strong arm. He's just got to work on his accuracy and his anticipation. Now, he can run as well, just like Hendon Hooker, but we'll just have to see how good his accuracy is. I personally think that it's going to be improved from last year. He showed out in the game against Clemson, but we're just going to have to see. Jalen Wright comes back, so does Jabari Small at running back, so the running game is going to be where it was last year. At the wide receiver position, you have Brew McCoy, Ramel Keaton, Squirrel White. Tight end, you have Jacob Warren and McAllen Castles, a transfer in from UC Davis. The offensive line, you have a redshirt senior transfer, John Campbell from Miami. You have some seniors in the interior in Ollie Lane, Cooper Mays, and Javante Spraggins. And at right tackle, you have redshirt junior Gerald Mincy. So, your offense, I have no questions about your offense. You also have Dante Thornton, who's coming in from Oregon, who's a speedster. And he's going to help a lot with your offense. But, yeah, I have no questions about your offense under Josh Heupel. He could make a offense if he can make an offense at UCF or Missouri look competent, he can make this one. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is the NCAA violations that were volleyed against Tennessee for the upcoming future because of the Jeremy Pruitt administration. Over the next couple of seasons, you're going to be dodging a bowl ban. However, you're not going to be able to field as many players as you would like. You have to vacate, I believe, 26 to 28 scholarships, and that's going to hurt you a lot. However, I think you're going to be able to overcome that with Josh Heupel. Heupel's offense it took this Tennessee team, and last year's Tennessee team, who had lost a ton to the portal, and they had, this past year, they had volunteered to vacate 16 scholarships. Now, I think that this move is going to keep Tennessee away from being at their full potential. And I don't think it's going to hurt Heupel a lot. Now, I do think that they're going to be able to live in the 7 to 10 win range over the next couple of seasons, at least until this violation is over. But I do think it's going to hurt Tennessee over the next couple of years. So let me get off that ramble and let's talk about the defense. Well, Tyler Barron's back. He was a big piece of that defense last year. Bryson Eason, Omari Thomas, Aaron Beasley. You get Keenan Philly from BYU, or Pilley, sorry, coming in at linebacker. You have Donico Slaughter back as well, Jalen McCullough, Kamari Hayden. All these guys played last year. While they were not the best, their defense wasn't the best. However, the way they played their defense helped make up for that. And while I don't think it's going to be improved a lot from last year, it should win you a majority of your games. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and go to the schedule. So, Tennessee starts the season off in Nashville, Tennessee against the Virginia Cavaliers. This is... I think this is going to be an easy win for Tennessee. Virginia is not a team that's going to be able to keep up with a high-powered offense like Virginia. So I think that Tennessee is going to be able to win this easily. Same way with Austin Peay the next week. I think they're going to start out 2-0 before going on the road to Florida to play the Gators. Now this is going to be interesting. I don't think Tennessee has won in Gainesville since pre-2012. At least. They may have won in 2005, something like that. I don't remember. But they have not won in a long time in Gainesville, and they would love to do that here. It's a night game in the swamp, and I think they're going to do it. I just don't think that Florida's defense is prepared to slow down this offense this early in the year, especially with losing a lot of their pieces to the draft. So I think you start at 3-0 before playing UTSA in Knoxville. This is an interesting game. UTSA is a great team. They got that Frank Harris kid, but I don't think it's going to be enough from UTSA. So you go 4-0 before playing South Carolina. South Carolina, another team that this is a game that you're going to want revenge for. They put 63 on you last year. You're going to want to put 80 on them this year. And I think you're going to be able to win this game at home in front of the big Knoxville crowd and get to 5-0. After the bye week, you play Texas A&M. This is going to be an interesting game. It's good that you have it at home. With Bobby Petrino coming in at Texas A&M, their offense looks to improve from last year. So, I think that these next two games are going to be really good games for Tennessee. And I think you win this one. I think you beat Texas A&M to go to 6-0 before traveling to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama. This is going to be a big game. Alabama's going to be looking for revenge from last year. Now, on paper, Tennessee looks to have a big advantage with their offense, and Alabama looks to have a big disadvantage with their quarterback situation. However, Alabama's defense looks to be a lot better than last year, especially with Kevin Steele coming in. They have a lot of young safeties, but Kevin Steele is an experienced D coordinator, and I think he's going to coach them up well, especially at middle of the season. I think Alabama wins this game in a shocker, and I think Tennessee suffers their first loss before going back on the road to Lexington to play the Wildcats. Now, this could be a trap game for Tennessee. It's good that you got UConn the week after, but this could be a trap game. Devin Leary with those three receivers, young receivers, and that defense for Kentucky. But as we saw last year, Tennessee, I just think that this defense, I don't know. I think that Tennessee's going to get the win here. Kentucky has struggled against the Volunteers for the last couple of seasons, and Tennessee is getting better and better, even with the violations. So, at this point, they are 7-1. Now they go back home to play the UConn Huskies, and I think they get a big win here before going on the road to Missouri and getting a big win there. I'm not going to waste time talking about Missouri. I don't think that they have the horses to keep up with Tennessee, as we saw last year when they tried to, and then Hendon Hooker threw a late garbage time touchdown. So, at this point in the year, with 2 games left, They are 9-1 and have the biggest game of their season in Knoxville against Georgia. Last year, College Game Day came to Athens for the Georgia-Tennessee game. Tennessee had been jumped to the number 1 spot in the nation, and it was very anger-inducing for the Georgia fans, as they didn't just drop us from number 1. They dropped us to number 3. Absolutely stealing a 1 versus 2 matchup in Athens. And Tennessee jumping us. So, when they came to Athens, they had a loud game against Alabama. We trounced that. We had, I believe, close to 10 more decibels in that stadium with 10,000 less people than Tennessee did against Alabama. So, this is going to be a big game. Tennessee fans are going to be wild. I just think Georgia is the more complete team, defensively and offensively, with Carson Beck and those guys. I think Georgia is going to be able to go in here and be sort of similar to the game 2 years ago. Tennessee may get some shots downfield, but Georgia and Kirby Smart are going to be getting film on this game and getting ready for this high-tempo offense. And I think that Tennessee drops their second game of the year before playing Vanderbilt at home the final week of the year. And I think they get a win there to finish 10-2. Just like last year. You go 10-2, and it's a very good season. You win in Gainesville for the first time. You get revenge on South Carolina. However, Alabama gets revenge on you, and you still have not got over the Georgia hump. So, now Tennessee fans will not be happy with them losing their 2 biggest games of the year. I think this will be a similar story to how it's going to go. So, anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and Go Dogs.